Help me, I'm being chased by a
Hello,
horde of cows.
yes. That's probably about sound there, isn't it? Starving Artist Podcast.
Welcome.
You already know what it is.
You already know. Or maybe you don't. There's a good chance.
It's been a little while.
It has been a
We
while.
took a week off.
Yeah.
You were in Greece.
Kos, Greece, Tigaki.
And then also you were ill, which I feel like happens at this point probably once a month, where you just start throwing up.
Lad, it's fucking way more than that. I need to go to the doctor.
You really do, man. It's
no, because it's way more than that. It's more than weekly at this point.
It's quite worrying.
Yeah.
You've definitely got some sort of like. Imagine if you found out you had some sort of fucking worm living inside you or some shit.
That happened to my nan.
Really?
Yeah, for years she was in agony with it. She got it off a cat.
It would not surprise me if there was something living inside you.
Yeah, like a goblin, something, some kind of ghoul.
Where are we at? Well, first of all, how was Greece?
Greece was fucking amazing, mate.
You seem better for the experience.
I'm much better for the experience. I ate when I was out there.
Nice.
Although some days it was kind of too hot to even want to eat. I'd have like some sandwiches in the middle of the day and then maybe something in the evening, like some snacks, and I'd be like, you know what, this is fine. If I had a burger now, I would be sick.
It's a nice reason to not be eating, though, I think.
You know what I mean? Because I'm just too relaxed.
Yeah.
You know?
As opposed to like, I can't afford it. Like when I went Greece, because I went Rhodes in May. My favourite breakfast was a protein bar and a can of White Monster, and I was like, that's all I need to get me to go in. You know what I mean? I'm just chilling.
My breakfast was an icy water and then go down to the beach and order a pint and maybe some chips. Quite a lot of days. It was boss. Like,
nice.
Honestly. And like, it was one of them holidays where it's not like I've been able to come back and be like, oh, and there was this mad thing that we did. It's like, I went to the beach.
Yeah. But you need that sometimes, you know what I mean?
Proper.
It's part of it's just a different kind of experience.
Exactly. So there looking.
We didn't put the thing on the background.
Fuck it.
Riff a minute while I do this.
Riff a minute. Bow, 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 bow. Bow, 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 bow.
Scat jazz.
Scat jazz.
There you go.
There's shit running down my leg. Bow, 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 bow.
So
That should have been the opening bit. We'll edit it.
Yeah. Starving Artist Podcast. Slightly less starving.
How are you doing?
No, you know what?
You eat though. Anyway.
Well, yeah. But the thing is, when we did the first episode, like a month and a half ago or whatever, like I think we were both at our poorest.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't know about you. So you've gone back to uni now. So like student loans in. You've
not anymore. I went Greece.
Student loans in and straight out again.
Yeah, I went Greece and then I came back and we didn't have a whip no more as well.
Oh yeah,
not
heavy.
even my car.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, to answer your question, no, I'm doing all right because I've been working at the theatre again.
Yeah.
Audio engineering, ting, and I've negotiated a better, more fair rate for doing so.
I love that.
So,
how did you go about that? Did you walk in and go, "This is my rate"?
Well, I will work for no less. What happened was, basically, they did a show that I didn't want to do and Jono didn't want to do, and they basically left it last minute to find someone to do it, and ended up with some really shit 18-year-old.
Now they've realised the value that you were bringing.
And also because it was like last minute and they just needed someone, they were like, what's your rate? And he told them what he wanted and they gave it him. So now, we've been like, well, hang on a minute, you can clearly afford to pay that. So, and we've been doing this for longer than that kid, and he was shit, and he caused the show a load of problems or whatever. Yeah. So that's nice. So I feel like I'm doing all right, and also I'm siphoning me money. I've got a offshore account. No, I've got
an account in the Seychelles
on an island. Being responsible with the money. There's a future rent fund. There's a potential trip to Australia fund.
I've got to be responsible with the money. There's a potential court case down the line.
Exactly. On account of this island. Yeah.
Island boys.
So, what happened to them? You remember them?
Oh, fuck off.
Didn't they? Oh, you vape dead?
Oh, no. Well, it's brand new today. I thought I broke it by blowing into it by mistake. We're all good though. But Island Boys are still trying to fight people on podcasts.
Didn't they start an OnlyFans at one point where they were like necking on with each other?
Yeah, I heard stuff about them kissing a lot. What I saw, the most recent Island Boys thing I saw was they were on some podcast and this guy was saying to them like, "What's with all the kissing?" And they tried to square up to him, and it's the only time I've ever seen one of these hosts just stand up and go. And he just sat back down.
Island boys, is it? Which island?
Boys, is it? Well, apparently they were on the Epstein Island. You not seen these photos? Young Island boys with Jeffrey Epstein on a beach.
Mainland men is what they should be called. So, where are we up to in the fucking scheme of what's going on in this band?
We've released Boy.
We've released Boy. You should go check it out.
Good.
Cool little fucking wavy R&B number.
Yeah, little slow one for you.
Yeah, little vibey one for you. You know, like little fucking driving around in the evening one. You know,
little fucking, oh, your eyes are closing a bit, but it's all right.
Little sun's going down one. You know,
Calm vibes.
Yeah. I want to do a video, by the way, about what that, like a TikTok or something about what that song's about, because I think it'd just be a funny little thing that would catch people's attention, man. It's essentially. I mean, I won't name names on the pod, but it's essentially about getting off with someone who's like literally just come out of a relationship, and it's like you know that they don't really give a fuck about you. They're just like using this as a little rebound one, but also
But
like
you're not asked.
yeah, because you're also in a position of somewhat desperation, and like so it's like trying to grapple with the not hating yourself for that shit. You know, what I mean? I'm not your boy, but I'll do. You know. What I mean?
Yeah. Oh, so it's like about like the sort of like, oh, there's a self-deprecating nature. To it. I know that I've not got this because I'm all that.
Yeah,
but I'm not.
It's just like
I'm a bit arsed, but not really.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because there's a line. It's like, I know we only do this because we're lonely. Like you're both in a similar position for different reasons, so you're just like, fuck it, go ahead then. But yeah, I think that'd be a funny like self-deprecating TikTok, just like like the ones we did here, where we just like sat explaining like how we felt about the song or whatever.
Well, there you go. You've just done that. So
well, yeah. True. So Boy has come out. We've been off it a little bit.
It's really good for him that he's come out as
about
well.
time. He's been around for a while, and I think it's...
And we all knew.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, it was obvious, wasn't it?
What's next?
Dental Floss.
Cool. I love that song.
So, but what I was going to say is we've been off it for a little bit due to, other engagements.
Yeah.
Life,
the
holidays, jobs, all sorts of shit. Going back to uni, you know what I mean? But we're about to get the fuck back on it because the next single is the best Strangers song, maybe. It's definitely the top two. It's definitely the one that ever since it was made we've been going, oh, that's the one that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's definitely the one that I'm gonna like try and push the hardest for us, both in terms of like shoving it down you lot's throats online, but also like, hey, John Kennedy, do you want to play this on Radio X?
Well, because for this one, because we've been sort of, all of the songs up to this point, it's kind of been a bit of a data scoop situation going, right,
yeah.
Who's actually engaging with anything that we're doing, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that by the time we get to this point, we can go, right, who've we got, what did they like, and then we can like hammer this one harder, and then the few after this one as well.
What do they like? How do we give it to them?
Exactly.
We're going to be on our knees for this. Doing favours to listen to the song. But so Dental Floss, 1st of November.
Ooh.
Also, just to hammer home, we're releasing a brand new song every month, right? We haven't talked about that explicitly in a while, but that is still the vibe. We do need to talk about that way more. We are releasing a brand new song every month.
What the
Every
fuck?
4 weeks, that's a new song for you to fucking listen to.
That's crazy. On what date of every month?
The 1st of every month.
The 1st of every month.
It's Strangers Day, baby.
Wow.
And that's getting clipped.
And what an easy to remember date.
Exactly.
If you forget the number 1, bigger problems.
Yeah. And if you think, it's been a few weeks since that last song came out. I wonder if there's anything new coming. We only have to wait at most 4 weeks. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And if you're 3 weeks in and you're going, I'm starting to lose interest. I really like that last one, but there's not been a new one. It's okay. There will be one in a week from that point.
Yeah, so just
Even
wait.
if it's been 2 weeks, you've only got 2 weeks.
Wait a week. You can wait a week. What's wrong with your attention span, you fuckers?
Listen, all a month is a week 4 times, yeah.
Yeah. 30 days, sometimes 31, sometimes 29, but mostly just 30 days.
Exactly.
That's not a long time
Break
to
it
wait.
down, 30 days, right. So you got 30 days. Now, one day is 24 hours.
Yeah.
Now, an hour is just 10 minutes 6 times.
Yeah.
So if you break it down, It's actually not a lot of time at all. You just do 10
Yeah,
minutes
and 10 minutes
over
is just
and over again.
10 minutes is just 1 minute 10 times, and 1 minute is just 60 seconds once.
And do you want to know how long a second is? 1.
There you go.
There you go.
So break it down. The song will be out before you fucking know it. And if you were thinking, oh, I like these songs, these lads seem sound, I wonder if we could maybe buy into them a bit more via their personalities. This is the 4th episode of this podcast, so you got three other episodes. That's like maybe like 2.5 hours worth of content, and then a gazillion TikToks and Instagram reels.
Exactly. And a lot of them are performance videos, granted, but a lot of them aren't.
Yeah. And even the performance videos, you know, if you really like us, you can look at it and go, oh, they're handsome, cool lads.
And if
what I
you
mean?
don't, say nothing.
Yeah, no one
Don't
cares.
tell me.
Nobody cares.
Don't tell me about how, his pants are too tight. Respond to that shit. Oh, his pants are too tight. Oh, them lyrics, they're gay.
Yeah.
That one never even happened.
No, well, there was one that I remember on an old clip of Highways where someone literally
I was like, these lyrics don't make sense.
you do realise these lyrics don't make sense, don't you? It's like, first of all, they do, but also like they don't have to mean anything either. You know what I mean? It's just a fun song.
Yeah, like, hey, did you not hear that 808?
Yeah, exactly. You hear those trap hats that are 4 years out of date. You think we were doing this if we were trying to say something? We're just having a crack.
You've got to ask yourself, if I was trying to say something, do you not think I'd have said it already?
Exactly. Yeah.
We should start trying to say more.
Well, yeah.
But what is there to say that isn't politics? And
Well,
we're not doing a song about that,
No,
'cause that's for losers.
But here's if you look at our body of work,
smelly losers.
if you look at our body of work,
How are we going to know if this has stopped recording?
we aren't.
It won't.
We aren't, and it shouldn't.
Okay.
But I mean, you can check if you want.
It's all right.
Um,
It's bad presentership.
yeah. It's what we should start doing is wearing headphones so we can tell if it stops or like in ears or whatever. But anyway, yeah.
What were we on about?
So you said we should start saying stuff with our music, and I think if you look at our body of work, both in tone and in lyrical content, it delineates the experience of the human fucking being, right? Like, it's a direct depiction of what life is like between the ages of like 18 and 25.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would argue we're saying a lot.
Yeah, and now that we're no longer 25, we're getting on the wrong side of it. Now we can start talking about more serious subjects like going from the screen to the pen to the king. Have you heard that new KSI song?
No, I haven't actually.
And he's crying over people saying it's shocking, but it's bad.
Yeah, I have heard people say it's bad. Like,
It's funny. We should put it on.
yeah, we should watch the new Sidemen video before though, and that's funny because it's their like 11-year anniversary. They essentially had like 1,100 quid each to buy presents for the others. And then, like, if you got voted the worst present, you had to do a forfeit. And if you got voted the best present, you got to steal one of the presents. But KSI got forfeited, like, 3 times, and he had to wear a chicken outfit. And then he had his hands taped to his ankles. So he was just sat there, like, squatting in a chicken outfit.
They are funny, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, but also you wonder why no one takes him seriously as a musician.
Yeah.
Like,
He's out here crying, being like, no, but this song is about my life. It's like, lad, your life is going down fucking water slides and dressing as a chicken. And you're trying to chat about being king of the game. What game?
yeah, it's halfway I've had, like...
FIFA, is it? I'll give you that. If it's FIFA, I'll give you that, you know what I mean? But the fact is, you've not played that for a while. You know what I mean? I mean, you may have. It's not your main gimmick no more, so king of fucking what, lad?
The scousest you ever sounded.
Lad,
But no,
it's this Georgia. Everything fucking...
I was off. I was half worried, you know, like via our sort of types of social media content and now like the pod and stuff. Like it is a thing that I've been worried about. Of like, well, I know we're funny and I want to like get that across, but also I don't want to just be funny.
Yeah,
then, like,
it's balance in it.
Yeah.
I was listening to someone talking about they were talking about Lewis Capaldi's shit, and because he's really big on that, and obviously he's not the best example for it because people do only really view him as the funny guy a lot. But when it came to him putting out music, when it came to him dropping that album after he'd already got a bit of track, because that first album did really well because of all this other stuff, because you'd see him doing this other shit and then you go, I like him, and then you see the advert for tune, you go, oh, he's got a tune coming out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can do it that way, or you can do it the other way, be a musician, and everyone goes, oh, he's actually sound.
Yeah.
Well, that way's way harder because no one gives a fuck about music no more. So
Yeah, that is true. That is
yeah,
true.
well, they like to pretend.
Yeah. I saw a clip of Tyler, the Creator, talking a while ago about, I think this was like after Cherry Bomb or something, and
I loved that.
someone come up to me.
Mixed horribly.
Yeah, it sounds like shit. Someone come up to him in the street and was like, "Oh my god, you're the guy from Loiter Squad. Like, you were so funny on the telly." Like, and he was like, "I spent ages like working on the perfect like chord progressions and getting this album together, and I'm just known as like that funny guy off Vine." You know? So he was like, "I deleted all my social media, and then I went and made Flower Boy, and then it worked." To be fair, you know what I mean? Like, you got to, like you say, it's a balance.
It's one of them though. Like, would he have been able to get to the position where he was doing Flower Boy without have been the Loiter Squad guy?
Yeah,
first?
exactly. Because
It's like you've got to find your in.
a big part of like the Odd Future thing was the personalities of the members.
Yeah, and like, what, we're acting like Tyler, the Creator, isn't still hilarious.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
He's
Like-
always making those gay jokes with gay jokes.
Guy jokes.
Those gay jokes with ASAP Rocky.
Oh, I was doing a boss impression in. I don't know if I can do it on the pod really though.
We'll just do it and I'll cut it out.
Okay, cool. So I was doing the Australian Jewish voice in Greece a lot. Boss, oh, La Hoya, oy vey. That's not a shekel. This is a shekel.
I think we can leave that in.
Yeah.
It's funny. I won't.
That's not a dreidel.
I won't clip it, but we can leave it in.
Oh no, clip it as fuck.
I'll clip that KSI bit though.
Yeah, yeah, me giving him shit. He'll reply to that as well. We'll end up on fucking Sidemen Sunday off that.
Yeah.
Put it on Reddit. We need to start using Reddit.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, this one goes out to Reddit. Fuck you, KSI. Fuck you, motherfucker. I'll train to box, bitch.
Oh, it is heavy though because
I'll fight him.
I actually do like him as a guy. You know what I mean? He's
You know what?
he's all right.
I think his heart genuinely is in the right place and shit. Like in terms of being a person, he seems to have like quite a good moral compass. To be fair,
Yeah.
It's just I think the thing that rubs everyone the wrong way with him is this like, and the fucking goat persona that he's like coming out with. It's like, grand, you've got good self-esteem, and we're all very happy about that, as you should be for anyone. But the fact is, all this like, oh yeah, I'm the king of the game though. Yeah, give me my crown. What crown?
Yeah.
There's YouTube, and there's people with way more subscribers, and I'm not trying to claim to be Mr. fucking influencer. I'm not trying to be like, you know, if it was to be a case of, oh well, what's your numbers? Shite. The shite.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's fine. I'm not trying to claim to be the fucking king of nothing, though. You know what I mean?
In that,
I'll only claim that if I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if it's one of them, it's not enough to just say it, is it? Like someone else has to say it for you. They said that on fucking Game of Thrones. Any king that has to say "I am the king" isn't a proper fucking king.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar is the king of hip hop because everyone says so.
everyone knows it.
Yeah, he doesn't even have
There's
to
no
say.
doubt about it.
When he does say, he's going, everyone agrees I'm the best, right? And everyone goes, yeah. You know what I mean? Whereas if you're going, I'm the best, give me that crown, it's like, no.
Yeah.
Get one commissioned.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. In that
Overthrow a nation then, bitch.
in that Sidemen video, one of the presents that someone bought for him, I can't remember which. I think it was like Josh or something had bought him a signed Jake Paul boxing glove.
That's
And he
That's
just-
dead funny.
He just went, oh yeah, so fucking sound that, and just like threw it and fucking smashed the thing on the floor. Right, so
Oh
format.
my God, we're like
How far? Are we? Like 20 minutes.
24 minutes.
Right, and we haven't even got to the bulk of
Yeah,
the shit.
there was a point outside where you were saying, I've got 4 topics and I'm going to give you a choice.
Yeah,
We can do a second pod.
yeah. But I was gonna say we could do a we need we either
Need
need
more
to do,
anyway.
Yeah,
'Cause I don't know.
we could do with the second pod or content. We need to do something else after this, and we can't just do a pod and then leave it. So
Yeah, I reckon we do a second pod because this one has been more of a catching up pod, which, you know,
yeah,
not every episode is going to be,
yeah. We should do.
not every game's the
We
Champions
should do
League
one
final.
or two
Sometimes you
videos
play
though.
against Southampton.
We should do 1 or 2 videos of like
Content.
like advertising content, like someone on TikTok shops getting
Do you see what it's
brutalized kind of content.
All these fuckers that you see all over the internet, it's not that simple, you know what I mean? We're sat here talking about, we're going to have to do a bloody video later.
Yeah. It's a
It is
fucking.
that simple.
Well, you know what? Just right. I'm just gonna say this as sort of like a passing thing, and we can maybe discuss it for a minute. But then I want to get onto this. Like, what I dislike about like the content machine is like none of it means anything because first of all, it's all so short form. Second of all, it all goes by so fast.
I was thinking about this, right?
There's a new video every
It's
3
like-
days.
Yeah, we need to maybe post less and have the quality be better because get on this. I was thinking about it in terms of because you were saying on the first episode you hate the word content because it's become about like content in terms of volume.
Yeah.
How much content can we get out there? But it's not really ever supposed to be about that. It's supposed to be the content of each individual thing. It's like within the thing, what does it contain rather than here's loads and loads and loads of just content. You know what I mean? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Fuck all, you're just throwing shit at the wall. Aren't you?
Yeah. Everyone's just throwing shit at the wall. That's the fucking.
Especially me.
Yeah. I hate the way. Throwing shit at the wall for
Especially me
years.
in public bathrooms.
Was that you?
Yeah. I don't even know what bathroom you're on about, but yeah.
Probably.
It
The
was.
likelihood is, if it's in witness, it was me.
Oh, fucking open that radius right up. I've got a circuit that I do. I go as far as Manchester sometimes.
you got your own figure of 8.
I bring a bucket.
Here's some I prepared earlier.
A brown Peter badge.
Oh, that's horrible. Right, so let's get into these topics. Essentially, just over like the past week or so, a couple of things have come to me where I was like, oh yeah, that'd be interesting to talk about on the pod. So I'm going to give you, so you pick a number. I'm not going to tell you what they are.
Oh no!
I'm not going to tell
you.
you what they are. I'm not going to tell you what they are because we could cover any of them at any point. So I'll just leave them on the list and then add to the list, and then maybe this can be a thing that we do.
Right.
You know, where we just like I'll give you a number and we'll just discuss the random topic.
Okay. Yeah.
Content in it, and also if we're going to do another pod, we can just do another one in the next one.
Yeah, clip this and then put on the screen what the options are without me knowing them as well.
Okay, right. So number 1 to 4, please, Sean.
I pick number 3.
Christ.
Oh,
Right.
what you wrote them?
I know, but this is just like the potentially the one where we're like, there's the most room for us to do a misstep that'll get us in trouble.
Oh shit! I'm so excited. Let's do it.
Right, but so also just
Probably edit clips for this later as well.
yeah.
We'll edit that out.
just as a sort of caveat to this, and this even the fact that I'm having to do a caveat to this could be a whole other topic, right? But as we've just said, the content machine, everything's so short form. So if you see clips of this on TikTok or anything, they're likely taken slightly. Even I'll try and put as much context as possible.
Yeah, you can justify this now, but if it gets clipped, this is going.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
This will be the first thing out.
Yeah, exactly. And that's annoying because it means that like no one gets context to the actual argument or our
Fuck it,
thoughts.
they don't need it. They'll find it on their own if they want to. If they
but
don't,
this-
I'm not asked.
well,
You're a fucking idiot anyway. You
and-
don't know how to use the internet.
Exactly, and this actually could be number 5. I might add this to the list because there's I've got a whole spiel about like people can't read context and everyone's fucking literary.
Nobody knows how to read.
No, literally, everyone's like reading comprehension's fucked. No one's media literate anymore.
Yeah,
like,
it's true though.
So, but anyway, we'll go dive into that another time, right? So, what I was thinking about was when you sort of insert too much of an agenda into something, it becomes anti-art, right? You can do both, but you have to realise the context of the piece, right? So what got me thinking about this is, have you seen Challengers, the film?
No, you asked me this last time as well when Zendaya's getting double teamed by the boys.
Right, yes, you should watch Challengers. Brief thing about Challengers. Spoilers for Challengers if you've not seen it. So yeah, it's essentially
Spoilers, just Zendaya gets whacked by two
no,
lads.
no, she doesn't. That's the thing.
Just
it's
tennis stuff.
well, she does sort of. It's essentially the whole film is it's about tennis, but it's also about a love triangle. And in the sort of the first time that love triangle comes together is literally the three of them are they all start getting off with, well, they both start getting off with Zendaya, and then Zendaya pushes them to get off with each other, the two dudes. And then they start getting into it, and she's just sort of sat back watching it. And it's sort of hinted to through that, and then through other things in the film, that the dudes have a sort of thing on and off. You know, there's a bit more than just a bromance there, right? And
tell me more about this gay tennis flick you've been watching.
It's great. It is great. It's film of the year. But aside from that, right, you don't see them get off with each other again. They're both going after Zendaya. They both want Zendaya. One of them marries Zendaya. The other one has affairs with her throughout that time, right?
This based on a true thing, is it?
No. Well, I don't think so, anyway.
I was going to say, fucking hell, this is strange. But also, it happens.
Yeah. But so... And, you know, it's the film is told over the period of like 10 years. And so later down the line, you do see one of the guys, the guy who doesn't marry Zendaya, he's on Tinder and he's swiping through and he swipes past both men and women, sort of insinuating that since that initial encounter with the two boys, he's maybe explored his bisexuality a bit more. But the film is not at all about bisexuality, right? It just happens to have characters in that might be bisexual or are bisexual, right? And I had watched a sort of video essay review of this film that picked up on the bisexual nature of their relationship and sort of used it as a critique of the film, saying that the director should have explored that more because bisexuality is often disregarded or has been like invalidated in the past as a sexuality.
Like, oh, it's just greedy.
Yeah, exactly, stuff like that. And the guy was saying, I wish I could remember his name. Sorry, I can't credit him.
It's all right. He produced a full-on movie.
The video essay guy.
Oh yeah. He probably could do with the credit then.
Yeah. Sorry, but
Google it.
Yeah, it's one of only several reviews of this film on YouTube that I could find. So, and he was essentially saying that, you know, he wanted that to be explored more because he thought that bisexuality in general should be explored more in cinema as a way of validating it as a real thing, which is a fair critique, right? But it's not a fair critique of this movie.
I was about to say this film isn't about that. Do a film about bisexuality then.
Well, exactly, and I would argue that it's maybe almost. I think it's better.
The thing is, if you make the whole thing about bisexuality, it makes it seem as if it's this outlandish thing. If you just treat it as though it's a part of life, because it is.
Yeah.
Like this guy, okay, so he copped off with a fella and now he likes fellas as well. And the extent of that in real life is literally you have experience and then continue out into the world as such. It doesn't have to be this big fucking mind-blowing experience of, oh my God, my bisexual awakening. It's go on your Tinder and change your settings.
Yeah, and like you say, like, it can be that.
That being said, the idea of, like, art having too much of a, like, agenda ruining the art depends on the art. Because what would Rage Against the Machine be if they weren't talking about income inequality? You know what I mean?
Depends on the art and depends on the agenda, right? So it depends on what the art is trying to be. Talking about a topic or displaying a topic is not the same as promoting a topic and saying that you agree with certain views, you know what I mean? So you can talk about things in art.
Yeah.
Because really, actually...
Well, like, American History X isn't a fucking celebration of racism, is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talking about...
Yeah, because...
I suppose that does have an agenda on the other side.
Yeah, but in art, you have to... I feel like I'm struggling to, like, fully articulate what I'm saying. In art, you have to be able to talk about things, right? And sometimes they're the things that...
Uncomfortable things.
Yeah, exactly, right. And you also have to be free. You have to be allowed to be free to have that discussion. Like, you even now, right, in this, you can see that I'm sort of working out what I'm trying to say in real time, right? Yeah. It's not like I have a hard prepared stance on this.
The guy saying, oh, well, they should have explored the bisexuality angle more. It is the artist's prerogative to talk about whatever they want in whatever manner they want, but also not to talk about whatever they don't want, you know what I mean? If I don't want to touch on this angle, I'm not going to. Someone else can do that who knows more about it. I can still acknowledge that thing happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It comes from this mindset of like art has to take a moral stance on things, and if it is not taking the correct moral stance or isn't conveying the correct
I want to see some art deliberately take the wrong moral stance.
Well,
for a
but
while.
also-
Saying that's just Netflix comedy specials, isn't it?
even but
What about this horrible thing?
but in art you have to be free to also explore the incorrect moral
Yeah.
stance as well, which obviously like we're not talking about the Zendaya thing now.
Really, this does actually lead me on to something you've got me started now. You've put your 50p in, right? So when it comes to say like on X now, but when it was like Twitter and stuff and the whole cancel culture thing over things that people have said, and it's like, no, you shouldn't be able to have a career, and people getting fired from normal jobs as well over it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, or even now people are getting arrested over Facebook posts in our country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that people should really have no limitations at all on what they say, and everyone that hears it should exercise some emotional intelligence and some individual responsibility on whether or not you associate with this person. If I turned around now and said something horrible about a topic that you really care about, you have no obligation to carry on hanging around with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the only way you'd know that I have this viewpoint that's so left field of what you think and so immoral compared to what you believe about this thing, the only way you're going to know that I believe that is by me saying it. So to know who the wolves are and who the sheeps are, you need to let them be the thing. Don't just fucking throw a woolly jumper on a wolf and go, there you go, behave yourself. That's not how it works.
Right,
You've got to let it bite someone, so you go, out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even then, not necessarily out. The fucking wolves don't know. But then we're getting too into the animal thing. The animals don't know what they're doing. Racists kind of do.
Yeah.
Or do they? Does anyone... How many racists really turn around and go, yeah, I'm racist?
Right, yeah. Well, but it's difficult, isn't it? Because you have to walk a line with what you're saying, because you also
I don't think things should be illegal to say. I don't think anything should be off the table, because your voice is your own, and you know what I mean. And if you then say things that alienate you from the rest of society,
that's society's job to alienate you as well, like, rather than the law's job.
You've alienated yourself, mate, by the things that you said. Now, that being said, if you started doing public speeches about trying to incite violence, if you're there in the middle of fucking Liverpool saying, and what we're going to do is we're going to behead them, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not cool, because that's actually trying to create a real world violent scenario. But just saying stuff, having opinions, like, no, have your opinion. I want to hear it because I want to know what to think about you.
Yeah,
know what I mean?
it's difficult as well, isn't it? Because, like, you don't want people to say things that are, like you say, going to incite violence or hate towards groups of people, but at the same time,
if it's true, you should definitely be allowed to say it. Like,
that's hilarious stance to take.
If it's a lie, you not really got a leg to stand on. If it's gonna hurt people, not really a leg to stand on. If it's the truth, though,
but
you know what I mean.
Because like the only
to be fair, even truths that do incite violence, it's like, right. Here we're getting into the complex nature of morality.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can't say things that incite violence. Somebody has just molested your daughter. You're not allowed to tell the boys that we're going to go and batter him.
Yeah, but see,
different thing. You know what I mean?
But then this goes off into something else.
But then it's all just speech, and I know that art is like a separate thing.
Yeah.
But also, art is just a representation of the human experience, and part of that is the things that you'll say, good or not, and the things that you'll do. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because and here's the thing, right? There's a difference being able to say this art is morally bad, right? Or it's having a negative effect on society. So you can use the argument about, like, are violent video games desensitizing young people to violence, right?
Are they fuckers?
No. Here's the thing. You can argue that they quite possibly are, but does that mean you should censor stuff? No, not necessarily, right? But I don't think there's anything wrong with acknowledging, because it's that thing of, like,
it depends if the thing is actually happening, though. You know what I mean? Like,
But nowadays, it's very much like it's very much like bad, gone. Can't talk about it. Can't think about it.
What I
Bad,
mean by
gone.
whether
Get it
or not
out.
the thing
right?
is true. It's like, say, the video game thing. Violent video games cause violent kids. If that's true, shit, maybe we do kind of bring the violence level down on that then, because real world violence as a result of art, not really on. But the point is that statement is a lie.
Yeah,
it's not true. Like,
but also, like, you don't know,
what I mean?
you don't know that, and you can make a case for the fact that that is true.
I'm pretty sure I've seen fucking stats and shit saying it doesn't
Yeah,
really have. But it was a big media thing when Columbine happened. Them lads were quite into, like, you know, Doom and stuff. But then every fucking teenager was into Doom. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It
Well,
got
no,
railroaded into that being like, it's the art's fault, when really no, because there's loads of kids who did.
That's the perfect example, right? So you could argue that
the Marilyn Manson and Doom caused.
No, you could argue that you could argue that the violence in video games is desensitizing people to violence, but right, that doesn't mean that everyone who's played a video game and been desensitized to violence is gonna go and fucking murder people.
I think if something as small as a video game or a song or a film, if that is enough to send you on a murdering spree and to cause real world violence,
right? Yeah,
there's a problem with you. It's not the art's fault. It's your fault.
Yeah.
There's a personal responsibility to be taken with these things. You know what I mean? So, like, you know, if the thing that you're saying is true, say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Put it in your art if you want. I don't fucking care. If it's a point that I'm not particularly bothered about, I probably won't listen.
But
if it's a point I don't agree with, then I'll disagree, and that's fine. But if it's
but then
it's not a lie.
there's like a complexity of like what is truth, which I feel like is a whole other fucking pod. But part of my point being is that artists shouldn't be made to feel like they have to make a stance on issues, right? Even if they're discussing those issues in the art, right? Again, relating back to challenges, the bisexuality is part of the art, but the art isn't actually about the bisexuality. It's just part of it. Therefore, the artist shouldn't feel an obligation to discuss that topic deeper. And this is like, people need to realise that
artists shouldn't feel an obligation to do fuck all. That's the whole point. Is that it's your expression.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if someone doesn't like your expression, that's fine. There's a good chance that you won't like theirs either. Everyone expresses themselves differently. Everyone has different tastes.
Well, and also you
like,
need to.
If you want to do a song about your communism and about your gender or whatever, do it. I don't give a fuck.
You need to be able to register the context of the piece as well, right? Which is something that, going back to what I was saying before.
Like, who's it for? Like, when we saw Barbie, it's like, okay, like,
this is.
I'm not too sure about some of them points, but it's not for us.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
I mean?
Exactly. Like, you have.
Like, we can't tell Greta whatever.
Greta
Thunderbird. we can't tell her how to write about her experience as a woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, even whether I agree with the points made or not.
Yeah.
That's your truth, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, exactly. And and I don't think that.
I feel like I've taken a surprisingly chill point.
Yeah. But this is like, I want to go back to the thing I said at the start as well about context and people not being as like media literate and stuff. This is a prime example of like people. Everything's so politicized now that people don't have the ability to look at a piece of art for what it is, and instead they put this lens of politics on it, and that makes them feel like, this
which side of the argument does this piece of art
Yeah,
fall
exactly.
on?
Right,
it's like that with everything. I saw a thing once saying it's like that with cars even these days. If you've got a Prius and if you've got a Ford pickup, those two things say very different things about your personality.
Yeah.
Like the fact that your choice of transport is a thing now that is, you know, polarized, being like, well, if you're left wing, you might drive this.
Right,
It sort of wormed its way into everything,
but
which is quite upsetting.
It's a shame because the left is where artists traditionally live.
Yeah.
Right. And
I'm not hearing a lot of varied opinions these days.
The left is what's coming. The left is the side that is coming at art with this opinion, right? Of like, because the left is obviously like so
Hey, to be fair, when films were being run by the fuckers on the right, by the seams of it, when I watch old films now, I struggle a bit, to be fair, because it literally is just, here's the plot, and then here's a gratuitous pair of tits, and then you know what I mean? It's like,
you can't categorise every old film under that.
Not
umbrella.
every old film, but like, say, a fucking lot of them.
Yeah, but
because Hollywood's not like you know,
yeah,
the most like they claim to be arts.
But this is what I'm saying. So the left is still where the artists live,
Yeah.
right? But the far left is essentially saying to the left,
you have to do it like this.
Yeah,
or you're not
like
there.
exactly. as someone on the left, you have a moral obligation to convey these messages,
yeah,
and also
obligation from your artists stems so far as well. It's like, remember when Ukraine started, and everyone was jumping on, being like, "Whoa, hold on, Gal Gadot's not said fuck all about this Ukraine."
Right, yeah.
What? Because she knows all sorts about international politics, does she?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, at a certain point, you've got to stop expecting so much from your artist, because your artist is obsessed with probably about one thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
there's a good chance that your chosen artist who you love so much, let's say it's a songwriter, they love writing songs, yeah. If it's a guitarist, they love writing guitar, they love playing guitar.
Yeah.
What the fuck do they know about?
This is
this
is a thing that exists outside of that as well. So obviously, like, there's the critique of the art and its sort of moral stance, and then there's the critique of the artist and their moral stance. And there's this thing these days where people look to celebrities for
guidance almost.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to think here? Is what it feels like. Hey, hold on, you've not told me what I'm supposed to think yet, and normally I come to you for that.
But it's not even that.
No, because they're trying to tell the celebrity what to think.
Right,
though.
but it's like you haven't spoke about this. You haven't outright said that you're against this issue. Therefore, you're in support of this issue. I saw someone comment on like a Charlie XCX post being like, "Why aren't you talking about Israel?" And it's like, because she's got a new album out. Like, what do you do?
But what part of Brat made you think she gives a fuck about what's happening in Gaza? You know what I mean?
And like, maybe she does, or maybe she's like every other person, and she doesn't have time to fucking think about it, which is the sad reality.
Acting like everyone's sat here talking about nothing but the problems in the world. Like, sometimes people want to talk about other stuff, and that's what art is. It's talking about all of it. You want to hear a song about war? There's a myriad of them.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
But the fucking rich thing about it is that it's, why aren't you talking about Israel? And before that, it was like, why aren't you talking about the Ukraine? And before that, it was like, why aren't you talking about this? And why aren't you talking about that? And it's just whatever fucking hot button issue is going on right now.
Yeah, it's like, because you can't be arsed copy and pasting fucking Sky News headlines into my feed.
Because you can't,
you know what I mean?
But you can't possibly give a fuck about it all, right? Yeah. Because there's a gazillion and one terrible things going on in the world right now.
Like, I think you can care about it, especially when you see it there on the news every day. You're obviously going to have some opinion about it, but you don't have to like make it. Right? What people don't recognise about these artists is when you're going on their social media, you're not interacting with a person. You're interacting with a fucking brand. It's like turning around to McDonald's and going, hold on a minute, yous haven't said anything about the new fucking the new budget that Labour's just put out.
Right,
it's like, why are they going to do that?
What's Greg's stance on Palestine? Like,
you know what I mean? It's like, why do they need one? They sell sausage rolls. Why does Charlie XCX need to go on about what's happening in Gaza when currently she's talking about doing cocaine in clubs?
Yeah, and also,
it's like, you wouldn't go to her in that environment going, hey, what do you think about the war in the Middle East? You're not going to get a straight answer, and you're still not going to get one now because she's doing coke currently.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But that relates back to like the sad thing that's going on at the minute. It's like these comments are coming from the people that should traditionally be about the fucking art, right? Look at you see the thing about the Just Stop Oil protests where they threw the soup on the Van Gogh. Oh yeah, that's a way that we'll show the establishment. Let's go after the fucking art. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
like that thing really pissed me off, man.
I'll tell you what it is with them. I'll tell you what it is with these fuckers, right? And because they turn around, because I've seen their points on this as well. I hear both sides and form my opinion. I know how to use the fucking internet.
Yeah, also, can I just say, I'm not necessarily against the cause either, you know what I mean?
And this is the point I was going to make. Just Stop Oil, as a concept, like, it's destroying the world. Yeah. You know what I mean? It is. Yeah. So, grand, we should probably move onto green energy. I'm pretty sure that all of the energy companies have also been investing quite significant amounts of money into the research and publicity of the goal of doing all of these things.
Yeah.
And if oil is gonna fucking run out anyway, why are BP gonna carry on going for it when electric cars are now starting to get made?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're gonna do the thing. The industry is moving away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, how about this? Let's speed that up by protesting in a way that all of the people who agree with your points will agree with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I agree with what you're saying. Get off the fucking motorway. Get off it. Unglue your hand, or I'll fucking run you down.
But here's
you know what I mean?
Here's the thing. I even ever so slightly understand protesting the use of oil in an environment where things are run by
It's
petrol.
like, Gatwick Airport. It's like, hey, you know what? I understand that, to be fair, because aeroplanes do cause a fucking lot of pollution.
Like,
and you're not really getting in anyone's way that badly there.
Yeah.
On a road, yeah, you are though.
But
you're getting in the way of people's actual lives, but also
Yeah.
like, you know, ambulances and shit like that. You know what I mean? I know it's a point that gets made a lot, but like the whole thing is throwing fucking paint on paintings that people love and fucking running into the track at a fucking F1 event and trying to get yourself blown to smithereens. It's like, hey, no one agrees with the way you're going about this. There's got to be another way where we'll turn around as well and be like, yeah, no, I can get on board with them actually because what they're saying is right.
But right,
you know what I mean?
the thing with the
But back to what I was going to say. Sorry, their excuse for doing these things is because it's publicity. So it's like, oh, if we piss people off, then they find out about what it is that we're talking about, and then they can get on board with the cause. But it's like, we fucking know who you are. It's on your T-shirt. You fucking goon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stop ruining my shit.
No, but right, even the thing. Let's say you want to protest the use of oil and you want to protest the use of petrol cars and stuff like that. Let's say you fucking block off a load of roads, right, and then that causes a load of disruption, and maybe the government go, oh, they keep doing this thing where they cause a load of disruption on the roads. Maybe we should hear them out because that's literally the goal of protesting.
Yeah.
They're causing a disruption. Maybe we should hear their cause out. Otherwise, they're going to keep causing a disruption, and that is just bad for the society. Do you think that most governments give a fuck about the art? No. They go, oh, that.
Hey, no. To be fair,
they go,
I'm going to dispute that very fucking heavily right now.
No,
Julian Assange. Do you know about this shit?
No.
Oh, mate. Right, get on this. So Julian Assange is the guy who started WikiLeaks. You know about that?
Right.
Right. So, and he got thrown in jug for espionage because he's the one who released all of that shit about the TSA spying on the American people and stuff. So he got thrown in jug. He's either getting let out or has been let out now because there was a guy who started posting on social media. He started collecting like priceless artworks, like, you know, these ones where it's like 50 million, 100 million.
Right.
Collected loads of them, put them in a safe, put a bomb in the safe.
See, yeah, that
And said, let him out or I'm blowing him up. He was out within fucking like
that's
a few
that's what I was
months,
going to say. Like, a government would look at it and go, oh, that's a piece of heritage, right? And therefore, maybe we need to do it. But it's not even slightly connected to what the fuck you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
what? Because it's oil paint.
like,
You know what I mean? It's like, what? You're that fucking sad. Like, go and protest outside the Range Rover factory or something. Even, you know what I mean?
But it hurts the art, right? It hurt.
I'm saying that as if that factory isn't round the corner from my work. That would cause loads of problems for me. But I'd understand.
More than anything, it hurts the artists, and it hurts the art, and it hurts the people in the art world that like the art. Yeah.
I'd say more than anything, that one hurts the cause, to be fair, for green energy, to be honest, because it makes me not want to get on board with it. And I like all that. I like being on Earth.
Yeah.
It's cool. We don't have another one. You know what I mean? I'm game for electric cars. I want to learn how to drive automatic because I'm assuming all of the cars are going to be electric soon anyway, because that's the way the industry is going. Yeah. You know, so for context, I'm doing a business course in uni. Fucking, they won't shut up about sustainability. That's all the industry cares about anymore. Because governments are demanding it from the companies, you know what I mean? Like, companies will go over to India to get manufacturing done because over here, the green energy laws and all, labour markets and all that, the restrictions are too high. So we're doing something towards it. There's other places in the world that could do with doing as well. You know what I mean? But in the meantime, like, I don't know, maybe stop turning everyone against yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like when Jamie used to be like, I want my left wing back, I can't fly. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of shit. Like, you're not inciting anyone that would normally have the same views as you by damaging things that they actually care about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, maybe if Sunflowers was like the cultural centerpiece of
Oil.
Which would be fucking weird, wouldn't it? I'd get it if it was like, oh yeah, everyone who loves greenhouse gases, they also seem to really love this painting, so we'll wreck that painting, so that then they go, oh, what's going on? But like, Sunflowers by Van Gogh, that's very much a left-wing hippy-dippy little painting to fucking, like, they're your market.
Yeah.
This is the problem with protest and shit at the moment, is none of them understand marketing, lad. None of them.
That is true.
Remember BLM?
Yeah.
It's not about anymore, but really.
Yeah.
But the problem that they had because again, the point that they're making is absolutely accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who's arguing that black lives don't matter?
Mm-hmm.
They obviously fucking do. You're a gimp if you think that they don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But in the naming of, they open themselves right up to the all lives matter, and you know what I mean? It's like there's a branding problem, and instead of then going, oh, okay, we'll shift it, we'll figure something else out, we'll find another way of explaining this to your fucking stupid mind. They try and explain, no, what we're trying to say is this, and you just don't get it because you're racist. And it's like, yo. You've got a marketing problem. It's okay. Rebrand and then carry on with the message, because the message is correct. But now you're getting into an argument about the semantics of which word should be at the start of your fucking name.
Yeah.
And it became about that when I talk to people in work, our white fellas in work and that. Oh, well, it should be bloody all lives matter. What, do they not think white lives matter or something? They couldn't get past that bit.
Yeah.
It's your fucking name.
It's
you know what I mean?
Like I see what you're saying, but also it's a hilarious take to have to be like...
There's a wider problem, because Just Stop Oil do the same
civil
thing.
rights movements of America have a marketing problem.
The civil rights movement had no marketing problem whatsoever. That name very much describes what they were after, and that is a just cause. We want civil rights.
Right.
Okay, cool. You know what I mean? Whereas I feel like there's a white, because everyone on the left wing, they also hate corporations and hate business and this, that, and the other. It's all part of it. So, like, they're obviously not going to understand these marketing things. And then when someone turns around and goes, oh, well, this, they're not going to understand that all it takes is just a little reshuffle, and it's, you know what I mean? All you have to do is change the name, then carry on doing what you're doing, and you're flying. But now you're in a 4-year-long argument about what your fucking thing is called. Or for Just Stop Oil, understand your market placement. You know what I mean? You're on the left wing.
Yeah.
What do people on the left wing like? Art. Okay, what should we protect? You know what I mean? Like,
I'm thinking,
not even protect, just don't attack.
Is there a contradiction in points being made by saying that the left don't understand that art doesn't have to take a stance, but then also trivializing art as having no stance, and therefore finding it okay to, like, fuck it up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like this conversation's been a car crash because there's too many
avenues.
There's too many avenues and too many points to fucking discuss. One of the things, just to go back to a thing that, like, fucking 20 minutes ago. So, like, we've both watched BoJack Horseman, right? Great show, as I'm sure you'll agree. The lead character in that,
A horse, by the way.
a horse, man.
Horse, move over, you hog the couch.
Doesn't do good things.
No.
Right. Let's just get away from the fact he's a horse for a minute. But the lead character in that show is not.
He's a bad person.
He's a bad guy. You know what I mean?
But he doesn't want to be a bad guy. But he just keeps on being.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And same with a lot of protagonists, and I think that's the mark of a good show, is that you can write a protagonist that is troubled but still relatable and likable.
Yeah.
Look at Tommy Shelby, man.
Tell you what, though, sometimes it's people end up kind of almost martyring these terrible like media people. You know, like Heisenberg.
Well, this is
There's fuck all redeemable about him at a point. Once he's got over the whole cancer thing.
well.
You know what I mean?
This goes back to people's media illiteracy
Like
because
the Joker, that's a better one. Heath
Yeah.
Ledger's Joker. It's like there's nothing redeemable about that guy. Why are you
Yeah,
posting
yeah.
that on your Facebook, being like you don't know him?
but that's I think that's more in the fault of that lies with the consumer of the art rather than the people making the art. But if you look at like Tommy Shelby, for example, or BoJack, they're characters that don't always make the right choice, and they've done things that make them flawed.
Yeah.
But you still want to
You're
see
rooting
them
for them.
succeed, right? But my point is that.
Yeah, you want to see these people exit the terrible circumstances.
But my point is that displaying those bad behaviours in the art doesn't condone those behaviours.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that your moral stance is on the side of those behaviours.
It's an acknowledgement.
Yeah, and you should be free. And I think, you know, in these cases, but those creators were free. No one's critiqued that of BoJack Horseman or of Peaky Blinders. No one said, oh, well, this protagonist clearly does terrible things and therefore this show has taken a negative moral stance.
Yeah.
Right? And that's just in the way that you critique art. You have to be able to understand that.
I can't really say so much for Peaky Blinders. I think that gets away with it by just being a fucking incredibly written show, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like with BoJack, I think that kind of comes from remake your point.
My point is that no one has critiqued either of those shows that just because their protagonists do bad things.
So with BoJack, I feel like part of the reason that there's not a critique of his like actions is because they have him commit these actions and then have the world respond to it appropriately.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like if he does this terrible thing, people then respond to him as though he's which goes back to what we were saying before. There's a social response to everything that you fucking do, and they acknowledge that. You know what I mean? Like he said a bad thing to a guy in a shop, to a seal in a shop, and now he's on the news arguing. You know what I mean? There's a consequence of his actions, and same with Tommy Shelby. To be fair, oh, I've gone too far with this grubby deal I was after. Now my daughter's dead. If there's a consequence to it, you can kind of get away with it because it's like you're not then trying to be like, look at this. BoJack Horseman tried to cop off with his childhood friend's daughter and just got away with it.
Right.
There'd be a critique then, you know what I mean? But he doesn't just get away with it, it plagues him for years, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I suppose that's the mark of like good writing
Nuance,
in that sense. Yeah, because you can explore the nuance, right? And you can display
It's taken, so say that scene. It's taken him then from
BoJack and Thingy's daughter.
Yeah, BoJack and the deer.
Yeah.
Like
Penny the deer.
Penny the deer.
Right,
yeah. Like after that, the easy route is to go, and now it's a show about a former celebrity who's a rapist.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a whole angle that you can explore there.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't.
Yeah.
Instead, they were like, and then here's a guy who's done the most regrettable thing in his fucking life.
Right.
And he knows that there's no moral redemption really for having done that. So it's sort of a struggle to forgive yourself when you know that the world's not going to forgive you for what you've done. That's a really nuanced approach to that one scene.
That's
you know
also,
what I mean?
That's an interesting thing to watch.
It's an interesting approach, isn't it? Because it's like, because it wasn't the obvious one, but then when you watch it, you go, oh yeah, on the other side of the coin, sometimes there's things like that. Yeah. Not to condone those actions, obviously, but it's not condoning them. It's going, hey, look, if you do something like this is how it's going to fucking plague your life.
And
you know
also,
what I mean?
like, that's what people are like, right? I think we live in a very absolutist society where people are really quick to point at something and go, that's bad, get out, right? Yeah. Whereas
there's not a lot of acknowledgement for people making mistakes and then like being eaten alive by it.
Yeah, it's very rare that someone is a good person or a bad person. I would consider me and you both good dudes, right? Nice guys. That doesn't mean that in our past we haven't done things that maybe we regret, or we've treated people badly, or we've said things that are stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. Like everything that I say.
So so being able to, and I admire being able to trust your audience that they're gonna understand that. It takes you have to put a lot of faith in the audience to know that, okay, I'm gonna display a nuanced version of a troubled protagonist, and I've got faith that they aren't going to take that out of context to reflect my beliefs or the beliefs of the show or the beliefs of even the character. It's just that one moment that character acted like this, and then you can show the repercussions, you can explore it in different avenues, but you have to be free to explore the ideas and to show the repercussions, because that's part of that exploration.
Exactly.
You can't just be expected to take because also, like, if you're creating, I think the best shows are like the world feels real, right? Each character is different in terms of, like, so like take BoJack for example. Different characters in BoJack react to him doing terrible things all very differently. Yeah. Sometimes he is heavily chastised for it. Some characters let it slide. Some people don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's,
some people want to jump on.
And that's, what I mean? And that's a reflection of society, life, right? Yeah. And you have to be able to show all of that, because you're not then saying by displaying those that, oh, well, what he did was wrong or what he did was right. Like, you let the viewer decide that.
Yeah.
You don't have to take that stance, and you don't even have to have a general consensus between the rest of the characters. You can let them have their own stances within that, right?
And, like, you can show every stance as well. And I feel like when the more stances on the thing that you then show, the more that you can justify having done the thing, because then it's like...
Yeah.
Well, because you've not just done the thing for the sake of doing it. If you... So say if you put something terrible in your show and you just leave it there.
Yeah.
You've done that because you wanted it there.
Yeah.
Quentin, get that foot out your mouth right now. You know what I mean? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas, say, like, so my favourite show ever is Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And they've said themselves on their podcast that the whole point of their show was that they wanted to take the 4 worst people in the world and then put them in a bar in Philadelphia in the real world and have people respond to it as though, as they would actually respond, you know what I mean? And then you get these people doing all this outlandish, terrible stuff, you know what I mean? Like, they're setting fire to people's lawns and jumping over the fence at a fucking abortion protest rally because they're trying to pull a bird on the other side and all this. But then the rest of the world treats them like they've done that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the difference between, like, oh, okay, you didn't make this joke about these people for the sake of, because you thought it was funny to make fun of these people. You did it to show how bad this person is, because now this guy's come over and said, you can't say that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But that's the thing as well. You can make a joke about something. And
it's whether or not you're telling the truth. This is what I'm on about. You tell the joke, and then someone comes in and then recontextualizes it and puts it in the real world again. And now you've told the truth somewhere. You can say, as an example, Always Sunny tell a joke about black people, right? And then a bunch of other people who hear them go, "Whoa, hold on a minute," and they say everything that you're supposed to say about that. That's where the truth is. You know what I mean? But the truth is also in the fact that people do say this other thing.
Right,
Whereas if you just tell the joke and then go, you've just made a racist joke.
Yeah.
It's the finding the truth in the art, you know what I mean?
Yeah, people have said a similar thing, like, looking back on Friends now, because I know you don't really watch Friends, do you? Right, so I grew up on Friends, and people have said, oh, like, bits of it necessarily haven't aged well, or, like, Joey's a womanizer, or Ross is toxic and this, but, like, never in the show is that not pointed out. Like, because the thing with Joey being a womanizer, it's kind of used for comic effect, and that's like, we're all laughing at Joey because we know that's a ridiculous way to be in life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Also, you see him fail a lot as well.
Exactly. It's also about, like, intent. So, so we've.
So I've said, what about a joke about black people on this show?
Yeah.
without saying a joke about black people, because
Right.
my intent isn't to upset no one, or
Yeah.
have mentioned BLM, or have mentioned Just Stop Oil.
Yeah.
None of this is like to do with views that I
But-
actually have about the thing.
But,
It's just
but
we're talking about the thing.
inherently, right, in today's society, if you say what you've just said, so people will have been watching this and you say, let's say they told a joke about black people, everyone sort of goes, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, what's
Like-
the joke? It's like, hold on.
Yeah, I'm just
Slow
all I'm
down.
saying is,
There's
what
something out
if
there.
somebody told a joke about black people?
What about?
Yeah. But even like
Blue Sky thinking about the idea of a joke about black people.
yeah. So but even then, like,
Oh.
so if we made a joke about black people now with no black people present, right? The intent is
And no one to call us on it.
Yeah.
We just say it and then put it on the internet.
Yeah,
That's just
like-
mean, isn't
yeah,
it?
but like there's not really any way you can spin that where the intent is good, right?
Exactly, yeah.
But like we've made jokes about just like to each other or like within circles of friends
All kinds of shit.
that could be seen as like offensive or
Yeah.
whatever. But the intent is never to be offensive to a certain
Yeah,
group of
well,
people.
The intent for me, because I do it more than you, and I've
Yeah.
been in trouble for it in outside of this circumstance as well, because not everyone wants to hear my funny jokes. But like, it's. I keep on forgetting what fucking point you made.
It also depends on the joke, right? Because so I saw a good critique of you know Joe Lycett.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
back to
go
me.
ahead.
So, I've had to explain to people before, like, I've not said that because I actually think it.
Yeah.
I'm saying that to point out
Isn't it?
how mad a thing
Yeah.
you can say.
Isn't
You know
it-
what I
yeah,
mean?
it's sort of- if
It's
anything-
like, hey, what about this mad thing
Yeah,
over here?
it's not-
How outlandish is that? That's where the laugh comes from, not the idea that
Well, exactly
someone's
right.
getting hurt.
And I
you know
think
what I
like
mean?
our sense of humor is also steeped in like irony and sarcasm. So
Yeah.
it's like, isn't it funny that people think these ridiculous things,
Yeah, exactly.
and then we play those characters to each other? You know what I mean? As if like, wouldn't it be so ridiculous and funny that someone would say this ridiculously outlandish thing that's complete bullshit?
Yeah.
That's what makes it funny. It's a critique of the people that say the ridiculous things rather than us saying the ridiculous things.
I'm just after realising on this same episode I did do the Australian Jew accent. So it's really hard to be like, oh yeah, it's the context. But at the same time, like, that's funny. You know what I mean? Like, why is that funny? Well, because it never happens.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
outlandish, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
like,
It's just ridiculous, isn't it?
Exactly, it's just not something that you'd expect
Yeah.
to happen, like a yarmulke with like corks on it.
Right? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I saw Joe.
But like, I don't think like something like that is the same as like having a pop about Gaza.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that, you know what I mean?
and it's,
but like
it's
people treat it like it is.
yeah, for sure. And also like it depends on your sense of humor because like people might not find the Australian Jew a funny bit.
They might
You know
actually
what I
be a Jewish person living in Australia. They might
Yeah.
be sat outside of a
If-
synagogue in Brisbane right now
if
going,
anything,
oh, this is
actually-
very out of order.
Actually, if
Oh,
anything,
the Hoyam, I can't believe he just said that.
if anything, I think if you are a Jewish Australian person watching this,
I think they'll find it funnier than
I think
anyone.
you'll find it funny. But this is also another fucking problem with today is like people get offended on other people's behalf, and the people who actually you think would get offended by it don't give a shit. So shut up.
Yeah, it's always like some atheist coming in and being like, whoa, hold on, you can't say Happy Hanukkah in an Australian accent.
Right? Yeah.
Happy Hanukkah!
But so that's it. That's humor is completely
Oh, that's like
subjective.
almost like a separate subject.
Yeah.
I don't even view comedy as a proper art form. Really.
Well,
Some of them,
that's-
some comedians, yeah. Most of them, no. Most of them are just funny. And I don't think being funny is necessarily art.
Here's the thing: like art can,
James Acaster's a fucking artist.
yeah.
James Acaster is a fucking
But
artist.
Art and entertainment can be two separate things, but there is also a crossover.
Of course there's a crossover.
Right.
Like,
Something that
there's
is-
sitting down and writing a bit. And like proper, like,
Yeah.
writing a bit. And then there's standing on a stage and telling a funny story.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
But even that,
Or
you,
even
you
just
could
standing on
argue
stage
that like
and saying something racist.
yeah. Even you could argue that like the telling of a story is an art form.
To be fair, yeah.
Like a lot of things can be an art form. A podcast can be an art form. a party can be an art form.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What?
It's
just
such
let
a
me.
loose term, though, isn't it?
I know. Let me just say this point because I've been trying to get it out for like 5
go
minutes.
on, yeah, sorry.
So humor is completely subjective, right? So some people might not find bits funny that other people find funny. And that is difficult because if you don't find the bit funny and it deals with a difficult topic, or it's like
then
like
the hard things.
yeah, if it's like faux offensive, where the point is that it's like poking fun at how offensive it is, and you don't find that funny, then you just see the offensive bit.
Yeah.
But so I saw a thing as well where it was Joe Lycett was talking about the latest Ricky Gervais special, and he was like, my problem with it isn't necessarily that he like tells these edgy jokes and goes after these like marginalized groups. He was like, yeah, I mean, like that could be viewed as dicey if you want, but also like that can also be fine if it's funny. He was like, my problem with it is that it's just comedically weak.
Yeah,
like the way he's doing it is comedically weak. Yeah.
Like, and because he's always been a bit like one of his first specials. Cause I used to fucking love Ricky Gervais, and his first specials I still find them funny. And there's a bit in one of them. Oh, can I even? They did a fucking DVD of it, of course. I can. So fucking. He's talking about he's at this party. And it's like the most offensive joke of his that I can remember that I found funny. But like, he's at this party and he's talking about this like dead fucking sad situation where his daughter has come back from the park. Have you ever seen this bit?
Yeah, vaguely, but I can't really remember what it was.
Right. Do you want me to do the bit?
Well,
it's a bit of a heavy bit, though.
Just what's your point?
Right. So the point was that when he did this bit and then got to the punchline is like, well, to be honest, the build up, the whole thing is up until the punchline is fucking devastatingly sad. It's really bad. And then he tells the punchline, and then you're back in the situation where you're at the party where he's telling people this story instead of in the conversation with his daughter who's had this horrible thing happen.
Yeah.
And then it's the absurd nature of like, oh fuck, now you never said that there, did you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas now he just gets on stage and goes, do you know who I fucking hate? It's like, that's just fucking mean, lad. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I get that everyone found it funny at the Golden Globes, but these weren't marginalised people. These are some of the most elite paedophiles in the world.
And that is the end of the episode.
Stay hungry, bitch.
Stay hungry, bitch.